Yes, observation number one is that spiritual reproduction is the natural next step in the life flow of a believer. And what we're saying there, and what the Bible I think teaches in many places, especially here in the stories of John 1, is that reproducing ourselves, or that allowing God to use our testimony to bring others to Jesus, is not something that is outside of the normal operating procedure of our life. It's in a sense supernaturally natural. We see that in the life of Andrew. We see that in the life of Philip. They just naturally, and as a next step, brought those who were close to them to Jesus. One of the best supporting passages for this is found in Matthew chapter 28. It's known as the Great Commission. The verses are 19 and 20 in the last chapter of Matthew. And in those verses, Jesus gives his parting commands to his disciples. And he instructs them to go into all the world and preach the gospel, to teach all nations, more literally, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to observe all things that he's commanded them. Now, often we hear the word go as the emphatic word of that text. There's probably a more literal rendering, though, of those verses. And it would read something like this. It would be Jesus saying, while you are going, make disciples. The real emphatic word in that text is the phrase make disciples. The word go is actually a present participle. And Jesus was probably actually saying, as you are going, make disciples. He was assuming they would be going about their normal everyday life in all parts of Galilee. And so he said, in everything you're doing, in your normal, natural life, in the flow of your everyday experience, make disciples. In other words, be about spiritual reproduction in every aspect of your life. And so that's why we see in John 1 as well as in Matthew 28 that spiritual reproduction should be a natural next step in the life flow of every believer.